Women's basketball head coach John Haskins previewing Clayton State on Saturday in the English E. Jones Center. John, just talk about pick up your. We're doing this post game after Lander. Talk about picking up your first win in the new year, sort of swinging the momentum in the other direction.
We need it. You know, we just struggled. I mean, our defense hasn't been that bad, but people just shot the ball extremely well. Unfortunately, Lander didn't tonight. So it's just good to get back in the win column, get our girls a little bit of confidence. I thought our freshmen played well. You know, they're getting better and better. Coco Williams came in tonight and did some good things off the bench, gave us some great minutes. And so, you know, our freshmen continue to improve, and our upperclassmen played solid.
Now talk about Clayton State, always a tough draw for any Peach Belt Conference team.
Just their pressure. You know, we faced the press tonight for 40 minutes and only turned it over 12 times, and I think that's good. Hopefully we're getting better. I think we've got more attackers, but we're going to have to handle their pressure. It starts with that, not give them run-outs in transition, and then get our defense set and just make them play against a set defense. They've had a little bit of trouble scoring in some of their games, which is good to see. I think they've had some injuries, so they probably don't have their whole team together like they would hope they'd have. But they're still Clayton State. They're going to be very athletic. They're going to get after us. They're going to compete on the offensive glass, and we've really got to play well.
Now, I didn't ask you this post game, but I have the luxury of asking you now. 114 wins in your career now. I mean, I got to ask you, what's it mean to you, sort of get your 114th win, all-time winningest coach in UNCP women's basketball history?
Well, it's an honor because there's been some good coaches, but I'm just an old guy that's done it for a long time, to be honest with you, and had some good players and some pretty solid teams. You know, we haven't had a lot of great teams, but we have some very solid competitive teams and a bunch of great kids that have represented UNC Pembroke very well.
One more question for you. This seems talk about the home court. I mean, is it really an advantage? It's had a little bit more energy to your team tonight as well.
I just think we're better at home for whatever reason, and not that we haven't through the years played some decent road games, but we've played some very poor road games too. It's usually we don't lay an egg that much at home. You know, usually we give a decent effort, and when I'm saying we play fairly well at home, right. You know, even the Georgia College game where we just couldn't make a shot, I thought our effort was pretty good in that game. We ended up getting beat by 20, but it was still a good effort. So I think they like playing in front of the home crowd. It's comfortable. You know, they're in a routine. All that's good. So and through the last 10 years, our record's been pretty good at home.
Head coach Ben Miller, we're previewing Clayton State on Saturday in the English E. Jones Center, second part of a 1:30 p.m. doubleheader. Just talk about your team right now. Obviously, a 4-game skid right now, but we're doing this preview post game tonight. You're finding ways to stay in and setting yourselves up for a win.
Yeah. You know, the Peach Belt is such a great league. You know, so often the games are going to come down to a possession or two here or there. And it's about, you know, getting stops and rebounds when you need to, and then, you know, execute well enough to get good shots. And, you know, we got to find ways to get that done and get over the hump. And, you know, every night in this league, every game is going to be a test that way.
And you got a pretty tight-knit bunch on your team. I mean, what is the morale of your team like right now? I mean, your seniors or your juniors stepping up and taking over a leadership role. And what's the overall morale of your team right now?
Well, they're learning. It's a process. You know, those guys are put in that. They were voted captains, Griffin and Ben, and, you know, along with guys like Brandon and Q, who've been in the program for a while. So. You know, those guys are trying to figure it out a little bit. It's a process. I do think they all care about each other. I don't think anybody in that locker room is going to point fingers.
Right.
You know, guys are a little disappointed, obviously, but can't get discouraged. You know, we got to keep our heads up and keep working and, you know, get ready for the next one.
Obviously, no easy games in the Peach Belt Conference. Clayton State, usually a tough draw for you. You usually have close games with them,
yeah.
Whether it's home or away. Last time I remember it was a pretty close game up here as well. But talk about Clayton State and the challenges they present to you.
Yeah, really good basketball team, athletic, do a lot of things very well. I think they're a good defensive team with different threats. So it's going to be another tough Peach Belt game. I thought the crowd tonight was great. Hopefully we'll have a good crowd come out on Saturday as well.
Yeah, one more question. Talk about that playing at home. I mean, obviously you're on the road for 3 pretty long trips, actually, especially last weekend. Talk about playing at home now. I mean, you got a pretty nice homestand here.
Yeah, it's, you know, the road is tough, and home games are tough. I think, you know, in looking back over the years, even, you know, home games, you know, everything's going to be hotly contested battle, and, you know, every team is playing for a spot in the conference tournament. You know, when you got a good 14-team league and only 8 teams get to go to the conference tournament. Everybody's fighting to get up into those top 4 on each side. So every game's going to be a battle. And that's one thing I love about this league, just the competitiveness of every ball game.